here we go. So now it says list the month number in the independent variable column. So this is our independent variable x, and it's just going to be month 2, let's start with 0. Before we even start, this restaurant's going to cost us money. So month 1, 2, 3, and then rather than having to type each one of those down, we can just select a few, and spreadsheets can work out the pattern there and automatically fill in. We're going to leave this last one blank because we're going to pick a random number later. So next up, input a formula in the dependent variable column. That's this one here, column B. This formula should include reference cells from the independent variable column in order to calculate the total cost after X number of months. So we're going to use this formula. There's a reason why I call these the month and base cost. It's sort of like M times X number of months plus B. So we see that this is our M value. So let's go ahead and go in here. We're going to say we're going to use a formula equal, so M, which is our 3,000, and when you put a number into a formula, it needs to be just a number, times X, this is our X value, plus, and I need to go back, what was our B value? 35,000. And there we go. So as one might expect, since we haven't started our restaurant yet, we know that we have base cost of $35,000, it's only going to cost $35,000. Now that we have this formula, what's really nice is we can just copy it, Command C, highlight everything down, and paste that formula in there. You'll notice down here at the end it's only 3,500, but there's a reason for that because we don't have a number here, so it's basically treating that as a 0. But before we move on, let's go ahead and turn that all into dollars, display as currency, and now we can model this out for any month we want in this last column. So let's say after 3 years, 36 months, this restaurant business is going to cost well over $1 million. After 3.5 years, almost $1.5 million. So at this point, we've gone ahead and formatted the independent variable column to display the numbers as dollars. I just realized there's a typo there. One thing to note about spreadsheets is it's not particularly good when it comes to spell check, but other than that, super solid. Anyway, so next up, we want to try and create a graph. But before we do that, I'm going to show the optional approach to doing this. This is kind of nice. So same thing, we're going to go 0, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go ahead and select those, drag that all the way down. The reason why I want to do this optional one is sometimes we might think of, as we did earlier, we might think of some more things to put in here where we can add a few more rows. That's going to give us some more expenses, which is going to change these costs. Or maybe we realize that these prices aren't accurate, we fix those, and we don't want to have to go back and redo all that math, so we want to update automatically. We can do the same thing here. We can use a reference cell by saying this is going to be equal to whatever is in that cell times this cell plus whatever is in that cell. So now we can just paste that all the way on. Oops, I almost forgot. This is why this is the advanced option. In order for this to not, so what happened there, as you saw as it went through, is it's getting smaller. And the reason why is because if you look at these numbers here, it's changing the reference cell. It's updating each time I paste it down. So I do not want this one to change. I always want it to be in B4, and I always want this one to be in E4. But this one, I do want to adjust so that way as I move down, it references whatever value of X is next to this formula. So now when I paste it through, you'll see it gets bigger and bigger. And again, we can do 42. So we enter that. Now here's why that is more powerful. If we go back here and say we recognize that if we add some more values, for example, we'll just put some random ones just to demonstrate this. So 2700, 13,000, 4900. That should do enough to show that now we've got these new values here. You'll notice that nothing changed here. Our starting value is still 35,000, but with our new formula that references that, everything updates to incorporate these new values. So our initial base cost went from 35 to 39,000, and now we see that reflected here. So that's the advantage of doing that.